Hey guys, and welcome back to the Kizz FC football channel. The new Premier League season is literally looming. It starts in about 1 hour's time, so I thought now would be as good a time as any to get my Premier League season table predicted. You see a lot of content creators doing this. I'm going to go through 1 to 20. I'll actually go bottom to top, so we'll start at the bottom and work our way up. I'm going to predict the Premier League table. Now, for a few of you, this is going to hurt. The club that you know and love and support all the way through the season is going to be in a position that you probably don't want them to be. Remember, it's a bit of fun. Nobody's going to say I'm right. Your team might be better than I give them credit for. Just don't get in a mood. All right, basically is what I'm saying. I've left it as late as possible because obviously I wanted as many transfers to be completed. Deals were going through literally as late as yesterday. And the transfer window is, of course, still open. So the later I left it before the start of the season, the more accurate, or I like to think the more accurate my predictions are going to be. But let's start right at the very bottom. Before we jump in, link in the description. Premier League fantasy football players. If you've got a team, join my league. The code is down in the description. There's also a link there, just click it. It takes you in, completely free. Let's challenge each other throughout this season. Get 2 free transfers every week. You know the rules of the game. Get in my league, get in my league. So at the bottom of the Premier League table, and the team that I think will come 20th is West Bromwich Albion. Now, massive club. I know they're a massive club. Throughout my life, they've been a little bit of a yo-yo team. They've been up, they've been down. They tend to yo-yo between the two divisions. Every time they go down, they almost come straight back up. They've obviously come up this year, and I'm predicting they go straight back down because I'm looking at their squad. Yes, you've got some names in there. Hal Robson-Kanu scored that great goal in the Euros, of course. You've got Charlie Austin, Matt Phillips, but they've sold Ollie Burke to Sheffield United. He's a player that I really liked, actually. Got a lot of pace. They've obviously got Diangana from West Ham. A lot of West Ham fans upset about that, but I don't think it's going to be enough to keep them in the Premier League. So West Brom fans, I'm sorry to say, I think you're coming bottom. You're going straight back down. 19th place going down with them is another one of the newly promoted clubs, and that is Fulham. Sorry, Fulham fans, I know a few of you. I've got some friends that support the club. Literally the neighbours, obviously I'm a Chelsea fan, and we literally set up camp, a bigger camp in their backyard, so to speak. But yeah, I think you're going down. You have got better players than West Brom, which is why I don't think you're going to be bottom. I would love to see you stay up. I have no hatred or ill feelings towards Fulham whatsoever, but I just can't see it happening. Looking at the squad here, Mitrovic, yes. Cavallero, yes. Decent. Josh Onoma, Tom Kearney. There's just not enough depth and not enough quality. Like, if Mitrovic picks up an injury, I'm struggling to see where your goals are going to come from, guys. So, predicting you to go straight back down. And Joe Bryan, he might do it. He did it in the playoff final. I know you guys hate him and he can't defend, but he might be all right in the Prem. We'll see. But yeah, 19th place for you boys. And going down with you, and this, for me, is probably the most shocking pick of the whole thing. Well, you let me know down in the comments if you think it's the most shocking thing of the whole thing. It's a team in claret and blue. It's not Aston Villa. It's not West Ham. It's Burnley. Now, let me explain. Great manager in Sean Dyche. Love him. We'll get the best out of his players. But I feel like this team and this squad have gone as far as they can go. Looking at the squad, Dwight McNeil's probably their best young talent. Other than that, it's very, very average. And I think teams have worked out what Burnley are about. They're physical, they're strong, they're aggressive, they're demanding. You know, they press. I just don't see them going any further. And I see other teams have improved slightly. They really haven't in terms of the transfer market. It's a surprise pick, I know, but Burnley in 18th place. Sorry, boys. And all their attacking players are basically the same. That's another reason. So, like, Ashley Barnes, Chris Wood, Jay Rodriguez, Vidra. All right, Vidra's a little bit different. Rodriguez probably technically better than the others, but Barnes, Wood, it's just big. If you've got big physical defenders, you can handle Burnley. 17th place, I struggle to say 17th. In 17th place, narrowly avoiding relegation. They narrowly avoided it last year. Is another claret and blue team. That is Aston Villa. I think, again, a team that are likely to struggled last season, but I think they've got enough. They've got Jack Grealish still. They kept their captain. There is just enough. They've got Ollie Watkins. They spent big on him, like a lot of money for a championship striker, but I do think he'll add goals. Hasn't worked out for their other strikers thus far in their Aston Villa career, but I just think they've got a little bit more about them than what Burnley will have this year. They know, you know, it's their second season in the Prem now, and they know what it's all about. They've been playing at that level for a season, and I think they'll survive by the skin of their teeth, maybe, but they will survive. This could come back to haunt me. There's so many clips of this video that you could, Aston Villa will survive, and then you just start playing it on a loop when they inevitably do go down. And then just above them is another team in claret and blue. It's the East Londoners. It's West Ham United. Struggled last season. They've still got David Moyes. They've lost Diangana. There seems to be a bit of unrest in the camp. Declan Rice is still there, but I thoroughly expect him to leave throughout this transfer window. Whether he comes to Chelsea or not, I don't know. But I think somebody will go in for him. Mark Noble's the captain, and he's been lively on social media, you know, expressing his discontent at the club, and I don't think the mood in the camp is high, and for that very reason I think they're going to struggle. They have got Yarmolenko, they have got Antonio, who had a great season last season. Will he have that again? I don't know. They tend to beat Chelsea at least once a season, so, you know, 16th place, I don't know how, as a West Ham fan, you'd feel about it. You know, you're probably not optimistic going into the season, but at the same time, all you want to do is avoid relegation at this stage. So, yeah, 16th. Poor. And then just above them, I've got Crystal Palace. Now, why Palace above those teams below them? Well, they've still got Wilfried Zaha. They've signed Eze as well. Eze, whatever you want to call him. I'm not going into a pronunciation game, but their squad is strong. They've got a great manager. Michy Batshuayi's gone there. They've got Ayew as well. Wilfried Zaha's got a goal in him. They've got players like Andros Townsend. They've got experience. They've got experience. Where I struggle with them is defensively. They're a bit old, a little bit slow. You can get in behind if you're quick, but I don't think they'll get relegated. I don't actually think they'll be in any kind of trouble. 15th for Palace. Just above them, we have Brighton. Now, a lot of people are tipping Brighton to come quite low. They're one of them teams that could easily be anywhere from like 8th to 20th in your Premier League predictions. I think they've got a little bit of quality in the ranks. They've obviously added Adam Lallana as well. I like their manager, Potter. I think he's decent, capable of some wizardry. My worry with Brighton is where the goals are going to come from. They've got Connolly up top. Who's the other one? Neil Maupay. All right, they've lost Glenn Murray. Glenn Murray did score a fair amount of goals, but he's getting on. He's old. It was about time to move him on. He stepped down to Watford as well. But the goals worry me. If Connolly and Maupay can be successful, Brighton will have a decent season, I think. I don't know in terms of the mindset of their fans what they consider to be a decent season. Is it still survival? Is that all you're aiming for? Or do you want to kick on? Are you aiming for a top half finish maybe? I'm not sure. I'm not sure you'll achieve it this season anyway, but maybe going forward, I think Adam Lallana will bring that little bit of class that maybe you've been lacking in midfield. You've always been a hard-working team, but that little spark has been missing. It's here this season. Adam Lallana, big season for him, I think. Just above Brighton, I've got the other team down from the South Coast, and that is Southampton. I do worry for them. What if Danny Ings, who is injury-prone throughout his career, what if he gets a long-term injury? That could sideline him for a while. The goals will really dry up. They've got Che Adams, who we know didn't hit the ground running at Southampton. We know they got off to a very sticky start, and their manager, Ralph Hasenhüttl, just wanted to say that. Don't know if it was right, but blah, blah, there we go. Does a decent job and gets the best out of his team. They've also added Kyle Walker-Peters. They've got Ryan Bertrand at the back there as well. It's not the worst team. James Ward-Prowse is in there, set-piece specialist. They expect some goals there. Played every minute of Southampton's season. Very important player too. I just think they've got enough kind of individual game winners to get them out of trouble in those games that are like 0-0 or the ones where they're 1-0 down and they're struggling. People that can produce a moment of magic. That's why they're up there. And then finally, we've got the other, I say finally, as if it's the end. Finally, talking about the other promoted club, the third team to come up, and that is Leeds United. I always think they're a massive club. I don't like them. No one likes Leeds. We all hate Leeds, that song. But the Premier League is a much better place with them in it. They've also got some real quality. They've signed Rodrigo from Valencia, who I'm actually a big fan of. I think he will bang in some goals this season. They've got Calvin Phillips. They've got other decent players. The spine of the team is looking good. Pablo Hernandez has still got it at 35 years old. He can still produce a moment of magic. I just think the first season back in the Prem for them, they're going to be so buzzing to be there after such a long absence from it that they will just work and yeah, they'll grind out results this year. Leeds, no relegation trouble whatsoever for you boys. Just above Leeds, another massive club in Newcastle United. In the 90s, in my childhood, they were the ones challenging Manchester United for success. But I don't think they'll be in any kind of trouble. I like the signings that they've made. They've literally gone, hey, Bournemouth, let's take your players. Ryan Fraser is there. Callum Wilson is there. They've got Andy Carroll that they could keep fit, offers another dimension. But they're going to get goals. There are going to be goals. There's no shortage of attacking talent. You've got Almiron, St Maxim in there as well. So there is quality. But where I worry about Newcastle is the other end of the pitch, the defensive end. Their defence looks poor, and I think they will leak goals, but I think they'll have enough about them at the other end of the pitch to counter that and more than make up for it. So yeah, round about the mid-table mark for Newcastle United. And just above Newcastle, getting into the top half now, is another United. It's Sheffield United. Last season's surprise package. They've done an amazing job as a group under Chris Wilder. He had them really, really well drilled. They absolutely annihilated Chelsea, beat Tottenham as well after the restart, and their squad is good. It's hard working. They all understand how each other plays. They've got a really good system. In terms of the goals, I am a little bit worried because I don't think that McGoldrick, McBurney, Moussa and Billy Sharp are Premier League quality strikers. I'm sorry if that offends you, any Sheffield United fans, but I just don't think it's true. They have got some other great players. Oliver Norwood I like, John Lundstram I like, and then John Fleck, Egan Basham. They've got some decent players in there. Ender Stevens, of course, ever present at the back there, but I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about Sheffield United. I don't think they'll struggle because they're just so well drilled, and they've got the Premier League legend that is Jack Rodwell, the pure money maker, in the team as well. Signed Oliver Burke, as I mentioned on the at the start of the video. Ethan Ampadu has been sent there as well from Chelsea. He's a great young talent. Trust me, he will do bits. I don't know whether they'll play him as a defender or whether he's going to sit in that holding midfield role for them, but he's a good player. Trust me. Sheffield United will be fine. Top half again. So then we're moving up in the world. We're into 9th place, and this is where I see Everton. It's funny team. I say it every time I play them on PES, on FIFA. I'm always like, Everton on their day can beat absolutely anyone, but they don't have that consistency. Maybe they will now. They've added a lot of depth to the squad in this transfer window. I've got the team here. They've got Doucouré from Watford. Absolutely brilliant. They've got Allen. They've got James Rodriguez. I just think this first season, they're not going to gel instantly. I would love it if they did. They've also got class players. Gylfi Sigurdsson, I'm a huge fan of. Huge fan of. There is talk of him leaving, of course. They've got Calvert-Lewin, they've got Richarlison, Theo Walcott, Alex Iwobi, Moise Kean, Bernard. It's a very, very good team. Andre Gomez as well, absolute baller. Again, it's a team that defensively I think might struggle, but they have got Luca Digne, who fantasy football picks will bag you points week in, week out. Seamus Coleman is there as well, Michael Keane. It's at that other end of the pitch again that I struggle. Jordan Pickford, of course, in goal. Splits opinions, but yeah, Everton will be fine, and I think being up there in that top half is a decent achievement for this season. They can then kick on next season, in my opinion. Great manager as well in Carlo Ancelotti, my favourite Chelsea manager. Kicking on, we have in 8th place Wolves. Now, you could put them higher, you could also put them lower. Literally, that's the name of the game, isn't it? Could be up, could be down, could be where they are. But yeah, too many quality players in here for them to miss out in the top half of the table for me. I actually think I've done them a bit of a disservice. I think they could come higher. They've got Moutinho, Dendoncker, Neves, like I say. Raul Jimenez, Diogo Jota, they've signed Fabio Silva as well, that I think will add a new element to their attack. Pedro Neto, looking like a good player. Podence as well. I mean, the quality is there. They're old and slow at the back though. Willy Bolly, Connor Cody, not the quickest. Congrats on making his England appearance the other day as well though. But they're not very strong depth defence. I think an injury to Cody, an injury to Bolly. You've got Johnny Ruben Vinagre as well, but they could be in a spot of bother, I think. I also haven't mentioned the main man, Adama Traore, the Beast. He'll be fine. Just above them, I've got another club from the Midlands. That is Leicester City under Brendan Rodgers. Very well drilled. Again, they play some nice football. They've got some good players. James Maddison, Yuri Tillmans, Harvey Barnes, an incredible young talent. They've got Chowdhury as well. Wilfred Ndidi, one of the better holding midfielders in the Premier League at the moment. Just looking at the team, Jamie Vardy, though, getting on a little bit. If the goals don't come from him, they're likely to come from who? A Jose Perez, probably. Depth is good. The depth is good. They've also got Matty James as well. Matty James, he's been there a while, hasn't he? Adrian Silva. It's just Vardy. They rely too much on Vardy. I actually think defensively they're quite strong. They've got Kasper Schmeichel, James Justin, Soyuncu as well, who I think is a great player. They've got the experience back there of Johnny Evans. Yeah, I actually think 7th place is a good finish for Leicester. I don't know if they're chasing Champions League football or Europa League football, but I think down in 7th is probably where they're likely to be. You look at the top 6 and that's just too strong for me. It's like a step ahead of Leicester and Wolves. Could be totally wrong, but that's where I've got them. And then moving on to the top 6. This is where it gets increasingly difficult because there are so many big teams, good teams, so much talent up there. But I've got the stars of the recent Amazon documentary All or Nothing, Tottenham Hotspur. Yes, down in 6th place. Probably thinking, what on earth are you thinking? Under Mourinho, I just don't think they attack enough. The talent's there, Dele Alli, Kane, Son. I mean, they've got good players. They're strong defensively. Tanganga is a player that I absolutely love as well, and I thought he shone in that documentary. But I just don't see the consistency being there. There's a lot of times Tottenham go 1-0 up and then they sit on their lead. I mean, Chelsea done the double over them last season, I believe. So, yeah, sorry to mention that, Spurs fans. Couldn't do this video without mentioning it, really. But, yeah, if we can do that, and we weren't at our best last season. We didn't even have a great squad last season at Chelsea. But, yeah, I just think Spurs, there's something missing, and I don't quite know what it is. Maybe it is that real belief that they can kick on and win a trophy or break into the top 4. I think it's a mental thing with Spurs. I think they have one of the best squads in the Premier League, but we'll see. 6th. Sorry, Spurs. Just above them, their North London rivals, Arsenal, not breaking into the top 4 for me this season. Hiccup. And for that very reason, they will have some hiccups along the way, I believe. They've got Arteta, great manager, done wonders last year, won the Community Shield, beat us in the FA Cup final, deservedly so. They've got Aubameyang, who for me would be the first pick on anyone's fantasy football team this year. If you've got a little bit of sense, I think Aubameyang is going to lead the way. They've signed Willian, who will be good for Arsenal. Chelsea fans are like, oh, he's old, we don't care. We do care. I think it's a good signing for Arsenal. He is old. They have offered him extortionate money for someone of his age, but it's what that team needs, you know? They've got other young talents, Maitland-Niles, who's messing them about a little bit at the moment. Defensively, they're strong. Kieran Tierney. It's the centre-back area that's going to be their worry. But I did read an article as well about Mesut Ozil. If they can integrate him back into the squad and get him doing Ozil things that we know he can do, one of the best cams in the world when he was at Real Madrid, no question about it, one of my favourite players. Hasn't really worked out for him at Arsenal, you know, the fans didn't really take to him. Has had some magical moments, but he's deemed as lazy. If they can get him back in performing at his best, which I think he would do now, I think he's old enough and mature enough to not want to sit on the sideline every week. Dangerous. In that fourth and final Champions League spot then, we have Manchester United. Ollie at the wheel. Since the restart, they've done an amazing job, and credit where credit's due. Again, it's defensively with them that I worry. I don't think Harry Maguire is the main man that everyone thinks he is. I think he can be turned. He's slow. Obviously, he's had his incident over the summer. I don't know how that will affect him. Whether it will affect him mentally or not, I don't know. But there were signs that Manchester United were going back to their old selves. Obviously, they get Pogba linking up with Bruno Fernandes. It's quite a scary thought. You've got Martial, you've got Rashford as well. Just scrolling through here, it is scary. It is scary if you're on the opposition. Mason Greenwood as well is one hell of a talent. Added Donny van der Beek. They've got Dean Henderson and De Gea there, so they're not going to struggle between the sticks. Yeah, I just think the extra addition of quality, plus that time they've had to gel under Ollie and the form they showed after the restart, they will get a Champions League spot for me. In third position, my beloved Chelsea. We've spent big, we've spent money that we generated through player sales, so I'm not getting this whole attitude of, oh, they're just chucking money about. Yeah, we sold the players to get that money, but hey, that's not the argument I'm having. Goalkeeper-wise, is your initial thought, is Kepa going to get a fresh start? I think he is. Is he good enough? I'm not sure. I hope he is. I think last season behind him, fresh start, new chapter for him. But the signings we've made, Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, Ben Chilwell, Thiago Silva, I think for me is the one I'm actually most excited about. Thiago Silva coming into what is an inexperienced defensive team that's been shaky for a while. I think that's the missing ingredient. I think would have been alright with Timo Werner and Thiago Silva only. I think that would have been enough for me. But there is quality all over the pitch. Ziyech, I missed Ziyech off that list as well. Unbelievable. If we can keep Pulisic away from injuries as well, get the youngsters who are now more experienced than they were last year performing. Yeah, it's going to be a good season for Chelsea, I think. And what do I expect? Do I think we'll win the league? No. Therefore, you know, I'm not bothered about coming second. If you're not going to win the league, just get in the top four, lads. That's all I'm asking. In second position, Jurgen Klopp and his Liverpool team. And the only reason I put them in second place, because I think they're going to be a force to be absolutely reckoned with again this year. It's just that it is so difficult to win the Premier League twice. So difficult. And I think it's just that desire, that hunger of being a Premier League winner. You're still kind of high off that from last season. You will carry it forward, you will get some forward momentum, but I think when it gets into those periods over Christmas and stuff, you just won't be as desperate to win it, in my opinion, as if you've never won it before. That is the only reason I've got them in second place. Their squad is absolutely frightening. We've got Minamino showing some amazing form in pre-season as well. Good youngsters, and then of course they've got Salah, Mane, the usual suspects, Jordan Henderson, Wijnaldum, Fabinho. I actually think they could be better in midfield. I don't know whether you agree with me here or whether you think that is a really stupid thing to say. I actually think they could improve their midfield. The front three, lethal. I don't think Firmino gets enough credit. I think he's the reason that Mane and Salah are able to play with such freedom. But yeah, one unbelievable world-class midfielder away from being unstoppable. Which means that at the top of the pile, I have got Pep Guardiola and his Man City team. I think they'll be out for revenge. They've recruited well. They've got Nathan Ake at the back there, who's a player that I'm a fan of. Former Chelsea man, of course. And you just look through the list, KDB, Phil Foden on form when he's not, you know, messing about in his hotel room. Sergio Aguero getting on a bit, but still got it. Gabby Jesus can step in if he hasn't. Sterling, Mahrez. It's just a frightening team. They've got a great mixture of technical ability and physical strength. And I don't think Pep will allow City not to win the Premier League this season. So, yeah, I think they will be champions once again. They've got a great ball-playing goalkeeper. They'll continue to play the style of football that Pep is renowned for. So yeah, City to win the Premier League this season. Liverpool second, Chelsea third, and Man United in the top four with West Brom, Fulham and Burnley. I know, the shock, Burnley to be relegated. But let me know your thoughts on my predictions, guys. Let me know your predictions as well down in the comments below. Don't forget to join the Fantasy League. Hoping for an absolutely banging and entertaining Premier League season that goes right down to the wire. That's what we all want. It's the sport we all know and love. Let's see what happens. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you next time.